right. I don't know where the hell my damn headphones went, but whatever. I'm back. I'm back. Welcome to What She Says Sports. All right. Oh, we got some people in here already. All right, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hold on 1 second. I gotta move this. Okay. Let's see if we can get it like this. Okay, I think we got it like this. Oh, that's my damn headphones. All right. Found my headphones. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. So we were a little blurry on the last one, so I adjusted my camera. And it is Saturday night. And last time we talked, we were talking about Stefanski not being a victim. And on this podcast, we're talking about Stefanski seemingly is on his way out. And some of the reasons he once should have been gone, but why it is that they're thinking about tomorrow after the game. That's when they're supposedly making the final decision on whether or not Stefanski should be fired. And I pointed out on the previous podcast that they already know that if Mike Tomlin loses this game to the Ravens, that they're not going to renew his option for another couple of years. He'll be done after 2027 or 2028. So why it is that the Browns have to contemplate after 2 tough years in a row. When you listen to Andrew Berry, the GM, in January before the 2025 draft, he talked about how embarrassing it was to go 3-14. And they're what, 4 and I don't know, 12, 11 or something like that. They're not too far off. They've only won 4 games this time. So Stefanski has won 7 games in 2 years. And before that, it's not like he was a winning coach. He's only had 2 winning seasons. So, I did some digging into why it is, what the criticisms are for him, why he's being fired, or why it is that he should be fired and should move on. And then I found a video that directly relates to this one, but it's about Coach Prime. And when I was doing research, it popped up and it said Coach Prime is told not to go to Shedeur's last game, that Coach Prime should let Shedeur face the Bengals alone. So, of course, I had to look at it, and I shared a snippet of that. And it turns out it was 2 people who I guess are podcasters for Colorado. And I guess The Athletic was talking about it, which is a publication or like a network, whatever. And they picked up the conversation and added their own 2 cents. And I listened to it, and we're going to share it. So I'm thinking to myself, who the hell are y'all to tell Coach Prime that he shouldn't go to Shedeur's last game because the trade portal was open? Wasn't it open last year? And he wasn't there. And Pat Schumer was on the, as they called it, the dusty trail. So if I didn't hear anybody complaining that Pat Schumer was making the visits last year, why are people complaining that Marion is making the visits this year? And considering Marion was sitting with the AD at the basketball game, my 2 cents is to hell with y'all. Because I'm already sick of CU anyway. I'm just being honest. I'm sick of CU. I'm happy that our young quarterback is locked in and he's being loyal. I'm sick of CU. I'm sick of the way they treated Coach Prime. Every little thing he does is under the microscope. It's no different than with Shedeur in Cleveland. And we know they didn't really want him there. And after all that Coach Prime has done for CU to act like this because you ready to break up, it's insane. I really didn't expect that, right? Even though I'm a proponent that he should have stayed at Jackson State, and I still feel like that. But at the same time, I'll let you listen to what they said about Coach Prime and staying away from Shedeur's last game. I, for one, think Coach Prime absolutely needs to be at Shedeur's game. What happens when Coach Prime is at Shedeur's game? He gets to play gets to play football. So to hell with these people. And, I'm listening to them talk about how it is that They not worried about CU fans pounding their fists saying he should be doing the in-home visits, and that's why we didn't get certain players last year. It wouldn't have goddamn mattered. It wouldn't have mattered because from what I could see, Pat Schumer and Livingston trashed the damn program. But they don't want to talk about why all the defensive players are leaving because of Livingston. Let me hear you talk about that. I'm sick of CU. I really am. And I know, the climate in the NFL is not what it needs to be, but I did say I think Coach Prime should, invest in the UFL. It's not like he don't know the rock, But at the same time, I'm sick of CU. I don't have no problem with saying it because they're not right. They're not right at all. It's like, thank you, we got what we needed. Bye. That's how they treat Coach Prime. And then they want to tell him where he need to be. But they ain't have nothing to say last year when Schumer was running around doing all the damn visits. It ain't like they don't know Marion is his replacement. So shut the hell up. All right, so let's get into it about Stefanski. Okay, so Shedeur's last game is tomorrow. I looked at the injury report. It's the tight ends for me. I'm gonna share this with y'all. It's the tight ends for me, right? I feel like the tight ends are being manipulated so that Shedeur only has to play with Blake Whiteheart, who stepped on his hand. Maybe it's supposed to be traumatic for him. And the next guy, Brendan Bates. So let me share this with y'all so y'all can kind of see how they set it up. All right. So I made myself smaller so y'all can see the screen better. Okay, as you can see, right here, it's the tight end row. We know the O-line, they're not making adjustments. We know that. They refuse to make adjustments on the O-line. As you can see, remember we looked at Kendrick Green? Now he over here behind Tevin Jenkins. He was supposed to be backing up Joel Bitonio. So they got Tevin Jenkins over there. And they said Tevin Jenkins likely will start at left guard if Bitonio is out. Then they have Kendrick behind the center, Luke. So he's at the 2 behind the center, now at the 3 in front of Tevin, when Tevin is supposed to be playing, I guess, over here or somewhere else, because Tevin can play on both sides of the ball. This guy right here still hasn't been rotated in, Cornelius Lucas, and neither as, I think I saw Jeremiah Byers one time. But this is the guy, Lucas, that Andrew Berry brought in, which goes into the conversation about people wanting to fire Andrew Berry along with Stefanski. But what does it say that Andrew Berry has to be fired with Stefanski? What does that say? What the hell does Andrew Berry's accomplishments have to do with Stefanski's failures? I think they want Andrew Berry fired because they don't want Stefanski to experience any consequences. And if he's the only one fired, then he must have done something wrong. Of course he did something wrong. So once again, they're trying to shield Stefanski from any consequences of his poor choices. That's what this is, right? And I'm like, okay, this is what people mean when they say the ownership has to change in order for the culture of the team to change, because the culture in the Browns organization is that people like Stefanski, who work hard to restrict Black quarterbacks, they should not experience any consequences for that. As if Shedeur and Watson are not human beings. And I posted about Tony Brown. I said they need to give him his job back because he was retaliated against. I said that on X and on YouTube. On X, somebody went and got some little snippet of something. It said, see, Tony being fired had nothing to do with Shedeur. I said false. The timing of Tony's dismissal indicates that it was retaliation. Just like Wyatt Teller was benched, and the timing indicates that it was retaliation for support for Shedeur, because we've talked about a laundry list of people. And Joku showed support for Shedeur. He ain't playing. They couldn't wait to bench Harold Fannin Jr., who walked off the field on his own accord. He wasn't praised as a hero. They couldn't wait to remove Harold Fannin Jr. So it's only Whiteheart and Brendan Bates. There are people who feel like Stefanski should not be coaching this last game because he can't be trusted. And that's exactly why Coach Prime need to be there. So the people are talking about Coach Prime going to the game as if he going just to enjoy the food and the view. It's full of shit. When they know for a fact that Shedeur has essentially been abused by Stefanski and sabotaged by Stefanski in every game. And when Coach Prime is there, he got a chance of walking off the field with his own 2 legs. Maybe the nails missing off of his finger, but his own 2 legs. And he gets the opportunity to play football. Because when he's there, he gets the opportunity to play football. So the people at CU that's jaw-jacking are no different than the people in Cleveland that's crying over Stefanski possibly being dismissed. And then somebody said, they not going to fire Stefanski, right? That's what somebody said. They came to me in the comments and said, they not going to fire Stefanski. I said, I'm just be honest with you. Pressure stands and means something. Even if they simply move him to another team, because they didn't even want to do that. And the fact that they still are inclining to do it, feel it out, talking to other coaches, but haven't committed to moving on from him. And maybe they don't want to say it out loud because why is he coaching this last game? It's not going to look good if something happened to Shedeur. When you moving on and interviewing other coaches, you don't leave somebody who's being fired for underperforming with the keys to the building. You don't do that. So what you hoping for? So, at CU, it's the same problem. When Coach Prime first got there, they had something to say about this, something to say about that, and they were waiting for him to fail. So they took matters into their own hands, and they decided to bring in his replacement. I don't give a damn what nobody say. That's what he is. And now you mad because his replacement is doing exactly what Schumer did. Why you mad? Because Coach Prime ain't crying? Because Coach Prime is fine with Marion doing what he hired him to do? Coach Prime not crying because Marion was seen at a basketball game with the athletic director, which is probably CU's way of saying, we're going to replace you with this guy, and so be it. It's better for Coach Prime to be at peace than to be dealing with people that don't want him, that only used him to get Travis back in the PWI system, because that's what it was. So just like Shedeur ain't crying, because you didn't want to let him play. You didn't want to give him first team reps. You didn't want to develop him. You didn't want to acknowledge him as a human being. You wanted to dehumanize him. You want to cry because Coach Prime is doing what he did last year. Some of the reasons that Kevin Stefanski should be fired because he botched Shedeur Sanders' rookie year. What does the word botched means? I'm going to share it on your screen so you can see what botched means. When something is botched, it was spoiled, it was ruined, it was done very poorly and clumsily. How many times do we hear people say, the Browns mishandled Shedeur Sanders? Clumsily, often resulting in a messy, keyword messy, and unsuccessful outcome. Messy is the key word. Retaliating against Wyatt Teller, Njoku, Denzel Ward, Jerry Jeudy, but you got to him. Myles Garrett, you still ain't got to him. And as much as Myles Garrett speaks out, they want to keep trying to get him on the record to say Stefanski wasn't a problem. So they keep asking him the same question packaged in a different manner. After he already told them how he felt. Well, we're going to ask it again to see if we get a different result. They don't respect him either. They can't wait to move Myles Garrett out the way. So botched means something that was spoiled, ruined, or done very poorly and clumsily. It often resulted in a messy or unsuccessful outcome due to serious mistakes. No mistakes, but serious mistakes. You know what the mistake was? The mistake was hiring Stefanski from the beginning, or incompetence. And that's what people try to figure out with the Browns, right? Oh, they're not good. Oh, they made a mistake. That's a lie. You make a mistake once, that's what it is. You do it again, it's a habit. You do it a third time, a fourth time, it's a habit. Stefanski doesn't make adjustments, let alone timely adjustments. And they say that's him being stubborn. No, it's not. That's Stefanski being intentional, even when the quarterback is being harmed. So the Browns get to week 18 and decide to put in print that protecting the quarterback, Shedeur Sanders, is the priority. It took you 7 games to decide you needed to protect Shedeur when you could see in the second half of the Ravens game while his house was being robbed that the O-line was intentionally not protecting Shedeur. And we don't hear about it again from the Browns side of things until the last game. So a messy or successful outcome due to serious mistakes or incompetence. It's incompetence. And that's the part that people don't want to say out loud. The Browns want to keep running around and asking players, how did you like playing for Stefanski? Ask the fans how they felt suffering under Stefanski for 6 years. Ask the fans that. The fans that chose to stay home rather than come out there for nothing. Ask the fans. You keep asking the players as if they're not under some type of duress or their contracts don't demand loyalty. Ask the fans who don't want to buy no more season tickets what they think. And they're saying this rookie class gives fans hope. So therefore, maybe give Stefanski another chance. Hell no. He the reason they didn't have hope before. And they want to fire Andrew Berry because of this rookie class. But this rookie class gives the fans hope. Why the hell would they keep Andrew Berry? So he can do what he did since he's been there. Running people off. And everybody don't get to run off. Let's just be honest. Baker Mayfield was allowed to run off. Flacco was allowed to run off. Huntley got kicked out and don't want to come back. But Shedeur can't run off. Dorian Thompson-Robinson couldn't run off. Jameis Winston couldn't run off. Deshaun Watson can't run off. P.J. Walker couldn't run off. If you black and you're a quarterback in Cleveland, you got to get kicked out or you just have to stay there until your career just goes nowhere or you get devalued or kicked out of the league itself. That's Stefanski's contributions on the quarterback side. You would think with all of the black quarterbacks coming his way that they don't like him and they wanted to expose him for not having objectivity. But no, those quarterbacks kept coming his way because he's a faithful servant and not to the sport of competitive football. But maybe Jim Crow. Because he tries to tell you this. I'm privileged to have this job. You damn right. You are. Because you're not a coach. Cronyism. So, Shedeur's rookie season was botched by incompetence from the head coach who set the tone for the organization on the ground. Now, did Haslam let it do it? And who he hires next is going to blow it all the way up to him if it's Stefanski 2.0. I don't care if it's Schwartz, if it's Reese, or if it's Stefanski or somebody new. If they have the same mentality and they try to run it back again with racism as the priority, it's going to blow up. It's too many people paying attention. And like I said to the sermon, I think that was the person I was talking to. Pressure must account for something because they don't even want to move him, period. So if they do, it's due to the pressure. Because look at how they dragging their feet. And then they're propping it up that, oh, he's highly sought after. Good. Let somebody else go hire him. And let their organization blow up. Because his track record, his reputation for toxicity will precede him. So that's on them. And they should be investigated for corruption. So it's like a hot potato. You pass it from one team to the next. Wherever he goes, the toxicity goes with it. All right. So one of the reasons, oh, I'm sorry, hold on. That was the playoffs. So one second. I was like, one of the reasons that Stefanski is leaning, why they're leaning toward moving on from him. Let me share this with you. I saved this earlier. One of the reasons is that they're looking at moving on from him is, and they're going to think about it Sunday. No final decision has been announced as of Saturday, but following their final game on Sunday, January 4th, they'll make a decision because discussions have been had between the team and Stefanski's agent. Now, that's the part that stood out to me. So Stefanski's a head coach, and like a lot of head coaches, they have agents. Even the coaches in college have agents to broker deals for them. So when I read it earlier today, it said that the Browns were in conversation with Stefanski's agent. Why? I don't think his contract is up. So apparently on the table is the opportunity for Stefanski himself to be traded because his contract is not up. In the NFL, I know where players are concerned. When you're traded, your contract goes to your next destination. So whatever's on Stefanski's contract, his agent is either negotiating a buyout of said contract or maybe trying to see if we could get another year or two for a cheaper price or a trade that would send whatever monies he's owed to a different team. Now, I would think with all of these teams after him, it should be a done deal unless there's no teams after him. I would be surprised if he don't have nowhere to go as a head coach. Not everybody, not every organization, not every franchise wants to take on a legal liability because he's a legal liability or they would keep him. The Browns would keep Stefanski if he wasn't a legal liability. He made himself that. That's why he started posturing, but it's too late. You've been dehumanizing Shedeur since the spring. And now, 10 days from winter, you want to Shedeur this, Shedeur that. Get the hell on. It's too late for that, bro. Them fans already decided to stay home. When them salespeople were calling about those season tickets, the answer was no, or the text messages was left on read. Pressure. So we're going to see what happens, but he shouldn't be coaching this last game. Because like Juanita said in the comments, he can't be trusted. And Coach Prime should definitely go to make sure his son is safe. And he keep his eyes on the situation. So to hell with anybody who feel like they have an opinion because they're CU alum and Coach Prime works for them. To hell with y'all. You ain't have no problem with it. When what's his name was running around now. So why you got a problem now? You just want to control. This is about control. Same thing with allowing Stefanski to coach the last game. All right, we might have to move off from him, but we ain't got to do it till it's time to do it. And according to Stefanski, it's never just one person. In other words, he's not the only blame. Yes, he is. Yeah, yes, the hell he is. And he don't want to be accountable. And people like that who are deflecting, they will never take accountability. They'll never take accountability. And he seems to be one of those people. This is right here. I think this is it right here. It says, let me share this so y'all can see. Juanita Britt. We were talking in the comments, conversing in the comments. Let me make sure y'all can see it. Okay, I'm going to make myself smaller so y'all can see it. Okay, I made myself smaller. Okay, it said, we're talking about Stefanski. He can't be trusted to call the game for Shedeur. He doesn't even like Shedeur. Facts. This is 100% facts. And as a parent, you can't leave your child in the hands of somebody that means them harm. And like Coach Prime say, I know how the game is played, right? And I bet he know how hard it is to rip a fingernail off when your teammate crush your throwing hand under the ground. I bet he know that too. And the last thing he should do is succumb to the pressure to give a damn what anybody at CU think when they trying to run him off and they couldn't show him no respect. And they wanted to sign Livingston first so they can use Livingston to control Coach Prime. Just like they use Schumer to control Coach Prime. To hell with all of them. I hope he go and stay on his path. And I hope he's at that game. Of course, they don't want him to be there because like they recognize what we recognize. It is a difference when he's there. And no, he shouldn't face the Bengals alone. That's ridiculous to even say that. It ain't like Coach Prime putting on a damn uniform. It said, why is he even allowed to coach the game tomorrow? If he's going to get fired, we don't trust Kevin, period. Facts. They want to keep asking Myles Garrett. They want to ask Denzel Ward about Stefanski and his coaching. Ask the damn fans. And you would think you got the message loud and clear when they stopped showing up. Or when they started speaking out. Or when Dylan stuck his toe onto the field, they started booing. Yeah. That's enough pressure right there to make somebody change course. And it's okay if they want to go get another Stefanski because they're just going to get further exposed and it's going to be worse the next time. It's going to cost Haslam his damn team. So he got a choice. See, these people buy these teams and they think they could do what they want. If you buy a damn if you a Chick-fil-A franchise owner, you can't do what the hell you want to do. You have to abide by some rules, and respecting your employees is one of them. And I already know that there's some kind of difference in the way that they run these organizations. I heard 2 former NFL players talking about it. One said they get paid every Friday, and the other say you get paid on Monday or Tuesday, depending on who you work for. I'm like, why is it different? What is the point of having the league at the top if every team below can do what the hell they want to do? You pay your people the same. Or there's no point in having the NFL be the umbrella unless it's to shield the franchises. And that must be the only reason, because clearly there's nobody in the NFL organization itself, the league, to apply accountability. So they don't exist to keep law and order or protect the brand. They protect their purpose is to just shield the owners from litigation. Because when people sue, they don't sue the franchise. They sue the league. So the next person to sue the goddamn franchise. That's what you do. Because the league is just blocking. That's exactly what that is. Because there's zero accountability. These players have zero recourse to protect them from their employer's corruption. That's facts. And that's where the league, the commissioner, should be fired. Because he must not have nothing else to do if he's not holding nobody accountable or making sure the rules are uniform. So it looked like Shedeur is being hampered with these 2 tight ends. Keep your eyes on them. And of course, the O-line, per usual. Seemed like it's really the same roster from last week. Even though Andrew Berry went out and got more people, they still didn't make it up to the front of the line with O-linemen to be replaced. So just keep your eyes open. I mean, the fact that they willing to keep Blake Whiteheart as the guy and protected him after he crushed Shedeur's hand, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it. And Stefanski on the hot seat and he gets to coach the game, I wouldn't trust none of it. I wouldn't trust none of it. If I'm Shedeur, I'm going to come to the team. I'm going to shower at home. I'm going to come put my uniform on in private. I'm going to come out here and play, and I'm going to be cordial with all y'all. And when I leave, I'm going home after I take my uniform off in private, and I'm going home and shower. That's facts. Don't turn your back on nobody right now. Nobody. So they showed they had a roster list of all of the people. They talking about the roster for the Browns have been decimated. The damn roster ain't decimated. It's been manipulated. See, they want to say it's been decimated with injuries. They ain't even do nothing. You ain't even do nothing to be injured like that. But it's funny, Jerry Jeudy not injured. Joel Bitonio not injured. But Wyatt Teller is. And he told us he wasn't. And you see there's no accountability to stand up for Wyatt Teller and to say, hey, this player says he's not injured, he can play. Nobody to look into all of these fake and excessive injuries. And only in week 18 do we want to talk about protecting Shedeur. If I'm Shedeur, I'm listening to that and I ain't trusting it because it's kind of late for that, ain't it? That right there would make me weary. Oh, now y'all want to protect me? Oh, okay. What, you want to lull him into a false sense of confidence to trust you? Shit, no. Absolutely not. All right, so these are some of the reasons that Kevin Stefanski is supposedly being fired. Supposedly being fired. And people want to point out, no decision has been made yet. I'm like, it's crazy how y'all don't know what to do with him, but you know exactly what to do with Mike Tomlin. I just shake my head to that because you know exactly what that is. All right, here it is right here. Some of the reasons he's been fired, other than the fact that he's a sub 500 coach. That does not need to be explained to anyone, but apparently it does. He technically is like a .440 coach, under 500. And everybody knows that. So I don't even know why they're defending it. And it says right here, in-game decision-making, frequent criticism for risky analytics-driven calls. Don't even know why they would say that like that, but especially failed 2-point conversions, the little raggedy Wildcats. Titans using the Wildcats versus the Titans using the Wildcats with Quinshon Judkins instead of Shedeur Sanders. Quarterback management, an inability to bench struggling quarterbacks such as Mayfield and Watson when needed, leading to prolonged poor performance and further injury because Deshaun Watson was sacked 33 times in 7 games. That ain't on Deshaun. That's on Stefanski. Now, I didn't watch in the Baker Mayfield era, so I don't know what happened there. But if I'm an insurance company, I'm like, y'all sure have a lot of injuries over there. So I think that's why that's in here. Preventing injury and difficulty adapting the offense to Watson's strengths. So here it is. You get a quarterback in Watson, right? And you know he's a dual threat. He was elite in Houston, and he just comes over here. And you don't know how to adapt the offense to his style of play. And then you get Shedeur Sanders, who's different from Watson. He's a pocket passer, apparently, and he can use his legs. And you don't know how to draw up an offense for a pocket passer. So let me get this straight. You don't know how to draw up an offense for a dual threat quarterback, and you don't know how to draw up an offense for a pocket passer. What the hell do you know how to draw up an offense for? A check down king. That's why he campaigned to get Dylan. Now, I don't know if Dylan was a check down king at Oregon, but from what I can see, it's quite possible he was. And from what I also looked into, he was not a check down king before he got to Oregon. See, Oregon wants to be that program to take Alabama's place. And they just might get it. But what do they have to do first? Pump out check down kings. Now, we know Dante Moore has a deep ball, but he just hit 3,000 yards. And I'm sure they're selling Dante Moore to the NFL as a check down king, because that's what some of these franchises, because we know they're all not on the same page, but that's what non-friendly Black quarterback teams want: a check down king. They don't want Black players to come with the talent and athleticism and the God-given DNA that they have. They want to lower the bar for the check down king. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to Dante Moore. If you've already been restricted to a check down king, you could throw a deep ball every now and then, you might be okay with that. But for players like Shedeur and all of the other guys that are already out here, that's boring. And fans have already pointed out that this check down business is boring. But as you can see, the Saints don't care. The Giants don't care. The Browns don't want to care. But they're in a tug of war with the fans. 20 million fans. So we just going to see what happens. But it wouldn't surprise me if Shedeur go in this game and he got to be a check down king again. And that should tell you that's what he's going to be next season, unless 20 million people get loud about it. And it's going to be hard to sell tickets to people if they want to know, well, what kind of football are you going to play? Are you going to let the quarterback play football, or are you going to restrict the quarterback and let the running back do all the work? That's just what it is. So that is one of the reasons: the offensive scheme and penalties, repetitive use of low percentage plays like flea flickers and short dump offs, check downs. I was just talking about that, check downs, and a high rate of offensive penalties and turnovers. Okay, let me tell you what this last line says: sabotage. This last line is detailing what happens when the head coach sabotages the game to make it low scoring. That's exactly what you do. Repetitive use of low percentage plays. If you watch the Panthers and the Buccaneers, fans were distraught that at the end of the game, with the Panthers behind, or they had the opportunity to score, they threw a flea flicker. Yeah, in a playoff game. And I said, oh, they just didn't want to win. There's no way you wanted to win with a flea flicker. There's no way. And they end up losing by 2. I'm like, you don't want to win if you do that. And it says it right here. Repetitive use of low percentage plays. You're not serious when you use a flea flicker or short dump offs, check downs. That's how you keep the score low. That's what they did to Shedeur in the last 2 games. That's also to keep his stats low. That's to keep him from showing off his deep ball accuracy. That's what check downs are for. And high rate of offensive penalties. What happened in the last game with 68 and 72? Penalty after penalty after penalty. Even the center got in on it. And what does that do? It moves the team backwards. See, sabotage is not a game plan. But that's what Stefanski been doing the whole way through. If you got Dylan, you didn't want to win this year. And you didn't want to play Shedeur because you knew you couldn't hold him back. You didn't have to hold Dylan back. He is as advertised. So you thought you could fulfill your mission with Dylan. That's why when he was losing, Stefanski didn't want to take Dylan out. See, this last offensive scheme and penalties, this is sabotage. And this is one of the reasons they're moving on him. Understand this. Knowing that he's guilty of repetitive use of low percentage plays and little raggedy wildcats, check downs, and a high rate of offensive penalties and turnovers. Knowing that he's guilty of that, why haven't they made their decision to move off of him? Why does it have to come after the last game? Or is that pretense? Because we already made the decision to move off of him, but we don't want y'all to know because we want him to coach the last game. Why? And that's why Coach Prime needs to be there. Front row and center. Absolutely. Don't turn your back and don't trust these people. Don't do that. And it said player accountability, perceived soft approach to discipline. Now, retaliating against Tony is not a soft approach. Retaliating against Wyatt Teller, against Denzel Ward and what's the other one name? Myles Garrett and Njoku and Flacco. That's not a soft approach. It said, notably with Jadeveon Clowney raising questions about maintaining locker room respect. I don't know what the hell happened. If anybody knows what happened with Jadeveon Clowney, please let me know. So player accountability. But see, there's no accountability for him. So I don't know what happened to Jadeveon Clowney's situation. I might have to look into it, but if somebody knows, let me know. Optics and communication. A tendency to shut down the media inquiries about mistakes or sabotage. In other words, a lack of transparency. It's not about mistakes. I would want to ask questions about sabotage either. See how nice they try to be? Mistakes. No, it's sabotage. A tendency to shut down the media inquiries about mistakes, creating an optics problem and frustrating fans. What's the last part? Frustrating fans, aka pressure. All of that word salad, all of that dehumanization of Shedeur, not wanting to recognize him as a human being, to say his name and all of this other stuff, got him in trouble. And that's what made him a legal liability. It's not just mistakes. He didn't like Shedeur, and he didn't like Deshaun, and I bet he didn't like Dorian Thompson-Robinson and PJ Walker and Jameis Winston, because he don't like black quarterbacks. That's the impression he gives off. The burden of proof is on him. I don't think he liked no black players, if we're just being honest. You think he would have been happy and head over the moon to have Harold Fanning Jr.? But no, he's happy to have Carson Schlesinger. So much so that when he was gushing about him in the press conference, he said, I mean, I'm not stomping for the kid. I'm like, I'm glad you called it out, because we all was like, ugh. Yeah. Didn't have much to say about Harold Fanning Jr. And he can't even play. But yeah, we saw him walk off on his own. So, you know, Kevin Stefanski has a myriad of issues, right? In-game decision-making, quarterback management, offensive scheme and penalties, player accountability, optics communications. One that's not on here, toxicity, poor culture, toxic culture, toxic workplace culture. This is a lot. And with all of this right here, they should have already made up their mind. And if they already made up their mind and don't want to tell us, they should not be allowing Kevin Stefanski to coach the final game. That is a privilege he should be denied. But the problem is, instead of taking care of business and holding Stefanski accountable, we're going to let him go one more time. And what is he going to do to Shedeur this time? Because we know they're not trying to win. We know wins and losses are irrelevant. And we know you don't like the quarterback. And we've already watched you manipulate the roster again. And you took away his lead wide receiver. And you refused to bench the minutes Jerry Jeudy as a receiver. The leading receiver in the league with drop passes is the one that can't get benched. But Harold Fanning Jr. is taking out the game. Njoku taking out the game. We know Njoku supports Shedeur. He's never been ashamed to show that. Neither has Harold Fanning Jr. And you leave Shedeur with Whiteheart, who stepped on and crushed Shedeur's hand and pulled the nail off after the play. So don't get confused and think it was in play. So that's pretty much one set of the reasons. And you would think with all of that, right? You would think with all of that, guys, like there's nothing else to think about. Like, what the hell else could that be to think about? His record, 44-56. He only has one postseason, 1 out of 2. His career total, he's .437. A decision is imminent, with the Browns and Stefanski are expected to finalize his job status shortly after their Week 18 game against the Cincinnati Bengals. That has to be a league situation, because that don't make no sense. With everything that I just read, they should already have finalized it. Potential replacements. It said the organization has repeatedly done background work on potential coaching options, which defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz considered an in-house candidate. I mean, he did suppress his defense, so, we can get him to puppeteer if we need it, right? Future prospects. Despite his struggles in Cleveland, Stefanski is highly regarded around the league. For what? And is expected to be a top candidate for another head coaching job elsewhere if he's let go. Bye. Bye. And good luck to whoever takes on that liability, that legal liability. Good luck to you. Don't let the doorknob hit you with a good Lord split you. So, I mean, that's really like it, right? Oh, I found this too. So check this out. This is one more thing. They went into it just a little bit more. It said Kevin Stefanski has faced significant criticism for his perceived lack of chemistry and ongoing communication issues with Cleveland Brown quarterback Deshaun Watson and rookie Shedeur Sanders. Let me make sure y'all can see this. Okay. I made it much larger just in case so y'all can see. Let me start over. It said Kevin Stefanski has faced significant criticism for his perceived lack of chemistry and ongoing communication issues with Cleveland Browns quarterbacks Deshaun Watson and rookie Shedeur Sanders during the 2024 and 2025 NFL seasons. These issues have contributed to a tumultuous period for the team and have put Stefanski's job security in question. It said with Deshaun Watson, the lack of chemistry between Stefanski and Watson has been a recurring storyline since Watson's arrival in Cleveland, since he got there. So, and this is where investigations are needed. Let me tell you why. Watson been there since 2022, right? So you mean to tell me when Baker Mayfield was there, you left him in unsafe situations to get injured. And since Deshaun got there, you left him in unsafe situations to get injured. And Stefanski was unwilling to build around Deshaun's skill set that you invested $230 million into. And he was unwilling to build chemistry with the quarterback. And remember, the head coach is the leader of the team. So the team has been divided since 2022. And today, of all days, the Browns orbit wants to run around and ask Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward if they like playing for Stefanski, as if they could honestly answer the question. Just on what I've read, it's shocking that anybody liked being in Cleveland because it seems chaotic. So Stefanski has been unwilling to build chemistry with Deshaun since 2023, and Haslam had the audacity to say that we took a big swing and missed with Deshaun. No, you took a big swing and missed with hiring Stefanski, who's not a head coach, who apparently thought his soft skills, his unwillingness to build chemistry with black quarterbacks would be okay, because they never said that was a problem with Baker. They never said that was a problem with Baker. But sound like Stefanski kept Baker out there long enough to get hurt. Then they moved off of him and got Deshaun. And it seems like it was Stefanski's job to make sure that Deshaun wasn't the leader of the Browns. Because from what I have watched with Shedeur, it was Stefanski's job, his mission, his agenda, whether it was his idea or he was volunteer or voluntold, to make sure Shedeur wasn't the leader of anything. Even when he got to QB1, all he got is the Raggedy Wildcats. It held back. And now, check downs. And you're going to let this menace, this liability, coach this player that he does not respect as a human being or a whole human being. You're going to let him coach him one more time with a manipulated roster. with the tight ends led by the guy that crushed his hand and ripped off his fingernail. Okay. They better hope this shit go right. So, they talked about Shedeur, Deshaun's performance under Stefanski has been underwhelming. Now, did they not say that the chemistry wasn't there with Deshaun because Stefanski was unwilling, just like he was unwilling with Shedeur? See, we didn't get to see Deshaun, but since you saw Shedeur, you can imagine what it was like with Deshaun. And since you listened to Johnny Manziel and the other guy, especially the black guy who said his head coach wasn't talking to him, now you see that this is a pattern within the Browns organization, that this is their toxic culture. For when it's somebody black that they don't like, to ice them out, to not build chemistry with them, to not let them feel welcome. It said, with some analysts noting that the offense has appeared broken and failed to reach basic performance benchmark at times. Didn't that happen this season? And Deshaun is not out there? I wonder what people are saying about, well, that's the same thing as with Deshaun. And you contemplating on whether or not to fire this man? It makes it appear that Stefanski was just doing his job. The part of his job description that you can't say out loud. And no, I don't give him no grace for that, because he decided to sign up for the unwritten part. He decided to take the lead and do the illegalities, because guess what? If it was legal for Stefanski to do what he'd been doing, they would write it down in the job description. If there was no consequence for it, they would write it down in the job description. Stefanski wasn't doing his job per the job description. And that's why I say somebody needs to look into this, because there's something going on over there when you know that you're going to boot out Mike Tomlin, who's never lost a game, and you hemming and hawing about Stefanski. And it's a laundry list of things as to why he should have been fired and shouldn't be coaching the last game. Locker room tension. Reports from the late 2024 and early 25 indicate that the situation with Watson created tension in the locker room, with some players feeling it was a cloud lifted when he was injured and departed. So let me get this straight. Stefanski chose not to build chemistry, or was unwilling to build chemistry with Deshaun, who's the leader of the team since he'd been there. And the players think that the injury and him being out the way made things better. Maybe that was the goal, to not build chemistry because we're going to move you out the way. Same thing with Shedeur. And look at how tense it was. And look at how people got retaliated against when they showed support for Shedeur. So was there anybody in Watson's locker room from 22 to 2024, December of 2024, that supported him? Or are we to believe that Watson is the problem when it's documented that Stefanski failed to build an offense around him? That ain't all Deshaun. And it's a shame that Haslam used, we took a big swing and miss with Deshaun to pivot away from Shedeur to get Dylan. You see, that's a problem right there. Sounds like Deshaun is nothing but a scapegoat in Cleveland, just like Coach Prime was nothing but a scapegoat in the draft. And Stefanski was a hired hitchman. And the owner is the culprit. That's what it's given. That's exactly what it's given. When you stand here and you put it all together and you say it out loud, Deshaun was a scapegoat. And so was Coach Prime. Because I was thinking today, when they were talking about Stefanski and letting him coach this last game and Now they're going to protect Shedeur all of a sudden. I say, it proves that what happened in the draft didn't have shit to do with Coach Prime. Shedeur being devalued in the draft like he was devalued in Cleveland didn't have shit to do with Coach Prime. It didn't have nothing to do with him being entitled because we know that ain't his personality. It had everything to do with race. And Coach Prime was a scapegoat in the draft. Deshaun is the scapegoat in Cleveland. Stefanski is the hired hand to do the dirty work, which is probably why he gonna end up with another job. But like I said, it's just gonna blow up the next organization. Good luck with that liability. And it's probably people that's been doing Stefanski's job for years. However, they wasn't stupid enough to let you know that that's what they was doing. They played the game, but Stefanski wanted to tell. So he should suffer the consequences. And so should whoever's next to get caught. So it said public perception. A Cleveland radio host rant about Stefanski's inability to coach quarterbacks, including Baker Mayfield and Joe Flacco, as others who improved after leaving, was favorited by Watson on social media. So let me read that again, or let me summarize. A Cleveland radio host talked about Stefanski's inability to coach. Even players that we don't hear about much, Flacco and Baker Mayfield, who they was ragging on a minute ago. And I said, why are they ragging on him? And I think it's because he left and he's doing well. And that is indictment on Stefanski. And for some reason, they want to make him look like he the Pope or something like that. Right? So apparently, Watson hearted the comment as if to say, yeah, it ain't me. Suggesting that a personal agreement, that he personally agreed with the criticism. Right. Deshaun Watson is a scapegoat. A $230 million investment that was blamed on Andrew Berry when it really was the owner. It really was the owner. And it's crazy how when Shedeur came, that's when it started getting cleared up as to who is the reason that Deshaun is there. If Shedeur had never gone there, people would still think it's Andrew Berry. But because how Shedeur got to Cleveland was a big conversation, and people brought it out that no, the owner told Andrew Berry, go get me that guy. It began to clarify things, and you could see that the Browns didn't want Shedeur, but they had to take him. And you could see that Andrew Berry didn't get, and I knew Andrew Berry didn't get. Ain't no damn way. Brian Flores is right. The league is right for racism. And if I don't have no black offensive coordinators and I'm trying to get rid of all the black head coaches except for two, why would I get Andrew Berry? After I fired Sashi Brown because he was going to get Lamar Jackson, why the hell would I give Andrew Berry leeway to spend $230 million on one black quarterback, and I don't want no more black quarterbacks to be starters? Hell no. That's how they got clarified. That's how they got clarified. So Andrew Berry assembled the number 2 defense and brought in a stellar rookie class, and they can ball out. But Stefanski undermined Andrew Berry and refused adjustments to the players that he brought in, even Kendrick Green and the other guy, Ewanku. Yeah. So now that the smoke is starting to clear, Stefanski been undermining Andrew Berry, Shedeur Sanders, Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, and I probably can go on Dorian Thompson-Robinson and on to PJ Walker. And the white quarterbacks get to get out and be successful. And under Stefanski, the black quarterbacks get demoted. And Deshaun Watson, his only way of speaking out was liking that post. Yep. So let's talk about with Shedeur. Tensions with Shedeur Sanders, a 5th-round rookie drafted in 2025, have centered on his integration and playing time, delayed starting roles. Stefanski was criticized for initially listing Shedeur behind other quarterbacks, including a fellow rookie, on the depth chart and being slow to officially name him the starter, even when Deshaun Watson was injured and unavailable. And they forgot to say, because Shedeur was better than Dylan. They forgot to say that. So I'm going to say it. Slow to start, delayed Shedeur Sanders, development, slow to start him, even though Shedeur proved he was better than Dylan in college and in the little competition. Communication errors. A notable incident involved Sanders being given a misprinted or incorrect play sheet on his wristband during a game day operation error that drew scrutiny of the coaching staff handling of the rookie. Again, he should have been told to walk home after that game, but yet they have to think about it. And they're going to let him coach again to do something else nefarious. Analyst claims, one NFL analyst claimed that Sanders doesn't like Stefanski, suggesting a breakdown in personal relationship. Out of all that you have seen, you just going to sit up here and lie and say Shedeur don't like Stefanski. Because you want to protect Stefanski, you don't even want to tell the truth in ink that Stefanski don't like Shedeur. Because you don't want to open the conversation that Stefanski didn't like Shedeur, Stefanski didn't like Deshaun, Stefanski don't like Andrew Berry, Stefanski don't like Jameis Winston. Shall I go on? Do he like Harold Fanning Jr.? Do he like Quinshon Judkins? I know he liked Carson Schlesinger because he let us know. One thing about Stefanski, he gonna let you know. Public comments. Sanders himself has publicly commented on the need for the team to gel and be comfortable with each other, implying that the necessary chemistry was lacking. It said, as of early January 2025, the ongoing quarterback issues are considered a significant factor in the speculations that the Browns may move on from Stefanski as head coach. Why? Because he's a legal liability. When you sit down and you look at the quarterbacks and how each of them were treated, when you look at Flacco and Baker Mayfield, who got out, and you look at Shedeur and Watson, who's still there, it's like night and day as to how they were treated. Both Deshaun and Shedeur have been dehumanized, and you can't say Deshaun was treated this way because of what happened in Texas. If you want to open up that can of worms, then so be it. Because Shedeur didn't have shit to do with that. And he got dehumanized. And as far as I'm concerned, he ain't done shit but be black. And visibly black like Deshaun Watson. So it's time for people to sit down and stop making excuses for Stefanski and admit what they probably already know. That when it comes to black quarterbacks, it is more than likely, whether he's aware or not, that he's racially biased. He even undermines his counterpart, Andrew Berry, who's also black. When you undermine Deshaun, Andrew Berry, Shedeur, Jameis Winston, but you don't do that to anybody that's white, and you praise so much so that you have to catch yourself in a press conference because you fawning over Carson Schlesinger, but you don't do that about who they say is the future team, Harold Fanning Jr. And you praise Carson Schlesinger for playing injured, but you take Harold Fanning Jr. out, who's black, and he walked off the field on his own. And you also bench Njoku. So you sideline two black tight ends, tight end 1 and tight end 2, because you prefer tight end 3 and tight end 4 who are white. Yeah, I didn't miss that. Stefanski should have been fired long time ago. And as I have pointed out numerous times, there is ample evidence to suggest, and what I read is ample. And there's more to that. That's a lot. And for them, the Browns, to say they're going to look at it after this game, something about the Week 18 game has purpose for Stefanski. And given everything that has happened with the Raggedy Wildcats, the wristband gate, desperation to crush the throwing hand of the quarterback, then to turn the quarterback into a check down king, to rig and fix games so we don't go to the playoffs with this quarterback, to rig and fix games so we lose, so we don't continuously win with this quarterback, to go on the record and say winning and losing isn't the goal, then the goddamn tickets need to be free. That's desperation to suppress the quarterback, the black quarterback. That's the problem with Kevin Stefanski. And if another team wants to get him, they should be investigated for racial discrimination the moment he hit the door, because it's evident over here. The question is, who gonna do something about it? That remains to be seen. So let me see what y'all are saying. Oh, I forgot. I was gonna share something with y'all before I hop over there. This is what ties into about Shedeur's last game, Coach Prime. This is a little clip that I said, okay, I had to get this and share it. I want y'all to listen to it, and we're gonna talk about it when I get to the comments. These are some CU folks. Just take a listen.
Portal visits start this weekend. They've already announced several guys who are coming to visit this weekend. Shedeur Sanders also plays his final game of his rookie season this weekend, and Coach Prime has been at Shedeur's games since he became the starter. And the question was posed, where should Coach Prime be this weekend? What do you think?
I think he should be wherever he feels the need to be. I'm just being real with you. If he feels like he can go to the game and he can get all of his work done, fine by me. I don't think it's the best visual, but he can do it. It's certainly not the best visual when you go 3-9, but he can do it. I am fully in support of him supporting Shedeur. I really don't care what CU fans think about that. I do believe that he should be here. I think that's a big part of the reason why they didn't land a lot of the guys that they wanted to land last year, is because he was not able to be here. He hasn't been here. So let's see if he feels like it's an important thing to do. I also know that part of the reason he hired Brennan Marion was so Brennan Marion could be the guy that could get out there and do a lot of this grunt work, because he's just not going to be that guy. So as much as fans can, pound their fists that they want this to happen, Coach Prime ain't hitting that dusty trail. It ain't happening. No matter if what Fernando Lovo wants, Brennan Marion was the one who was brought in to hit that dusty trail. And Coach Prime will be here sitting on the throne in the castle when you want to come visit if you're serious about Colorado football.
All right, quick question. Did Nick Saban go to people's houses? Is that what Lane Kiffin does? Is this a thing? And if Coach Prime wants to do something different, like he did with the transfer portal, and they criticize that, and if I'm not mistaken, when they decided they liked the transfer portal, they gave all the credit to Indiana's coach last season. I don't know if y'all remember that. So Coach Prime revolutionized, in my opinion, using the transfer portal, and they didn't like it. So is he the only coach not to go on the dusty trail, as they call it? Did Nick Saban go to people's houses, or, is that a requirement? Is that something you do when you want to get the Bryce Underwoods, maybe the Julian Lewises? And do you have to do that for a third string JUCO player that is a walk-on? And I personally don't think it would have mattered one hill of beans if he would have went to anybody's house last year with Livingston and Schumer. I really don't.
Will it bite? Probably. But at the very same time, that's the way they're going to run things unless they change it. But
that's a different question. That's a different question, though. I'm not talking about even him going on the recruiting trail.
Yeah.
Because I'm fine with him not doing that. I've never been one that feels like
I think hitting the dusty trail means, being here.
Yeah. I mean.
Okay, so they're trying to clarify what they mean by going out into homes. So the guy on the right in the black, facing right, said that that's not what he's saying. He's like, I'm not worried about him doing the recruiting part so much. Why? Because they have a recruiting staff. They still have, I think they promoted, they said Coach Prime assistant is now the lead guy. So that's what recruiters do. He don't have to do that.
Being at work.
I mean, yeah, but and to me, I guess I'm of the opinion, and you and I talk about this. Like, I am glad he was at Shedeur's, first start. He needed to be as a dad. That's where you want to be. You've been waiting your whole life for that, and he's been in all these games. I also think sometimes as a
okay, first it's naive. Either you uninformed or you're being naive. He's not just at the game because he's his dad. He's there to take account of what's happening in terms of his son being sabotaged and physically injured from the nefarious activity by the goddamn head coach that should have been fired already. And for these people to say that, they're either uninformed or they full of shit. He's not just going there to eat popcorn and watch his son. Like everything is on the up and up. That's what people got to stop doing. Talking about this situation in Cleveland with Shedeur being dehumanized, harassed, or mistreated or discriminated against, like Cleveland is on the up and up, and we're going to clutch our pearls when we find text messages that call Shedeur the N-word or say things like this, he not worthy. They talking like everything is on the up and up, and Shedeur, Coach Prime just want to take a flight to go see Shedeur. First of all, he probably can do that if he wants to because it's his goddamn program. And for the other guy to say, if he got his work finished, did you assign him some work? Again, the need to control when the leader is black. That's what this is. That's none of their damn business anyway. And they're not even speaking in the full context of what's really going on and why it matters that he's at the games. That's why I say I'm sick of them.
Me having kids, there's times you got to miss your kids' concert, your kids' game, things like that, because work is important. And I think that coming off of 3-9, you say it wouldn't be the best look if he was there. I think it'd be a horrible look if he's shown at the game.
Coach Prime went 3-9. I saw Coach Prime chase Livingston up the sideline. Y'all saw it too, right? So it ain't all on him. And we knew exactly what Schumer was up to. Again, that ain't on Coach Prime. And it's not a football game missing. The portal just opened. And he has recruiters to do the work. And considering the Big 12 tried to run off every goddamn body, who the hell's house is he going to? Let's just be honest. We getting players from Maryland of Ohio, or Ohio of Maryland, not Ohio State, because y'all done ran all of them off. So to hell with them.
While you got transfers coming in to visit your school, if you're serious about building this thing back up, these guys are coming in here. I don't care if your name is Deion Sanders or Kurt Signetti or Jed Fish or whatever it is. These guys are coming here. They want to meet the head coach, and if the head coach isn't there, like, yeah, sorry, he's at his kid's game, and
bruh, let's just be honest here. Let's just be honest here. They're talking about if he want to build this thing back up. Y'all tore it down. Y'all tore it down. And I don't know where these two set in the whole Ryan Staub situation. And he hopping into the portal, by the way. I don't know where these two set in the whole Ryan Staub situation. But for all the CU people that was pushing that up, y'all can shut the hell up. Because you tried to tear it down with Ryan Staub. You knew he wasn't that guy. But you wanted to control Coach Prime because he's a black head coach. And it's just killing people. Because they don't think he belongs there. And we only brought you in to get Travis back and he gone, so bye. So now they have something to say about everything. When people did pick at you, they don't like you. They were only tolerating you because you had something they wanted. Travis Hunter. And not Travis Hunter per se, but a black 5-star candidate that was flipped from a PWI to an HBCU, and within a year later, flipped back to a PWI. That's what they wanted, to control the recruiting so black players don't go to black schools and play football for black teams.
I think it'd be a really bad look for Coach Prime if he's not there. I think that if there are visits being taken on Sunday, he needs to be here. If there's not, if they're all on Saturday and then they start again on Monday, then fine, go. But if there are players visiting your campus on Sunday, he needs to be here.
Why wasn't this last year? Why wasn't this a conversation last year? Everybody was fine with Pat Schumer doing it. What's the problem?
Sure. I don't disagree with that. I would just say that, you know, I also wouldn't criticize him a ton for it either, because maybe there is no point for him to be here. I don't know. You would think that there is. I know that every other coach most likely around the country is going to be at work. But if he feels like he's got it handled, it's all on him. He's ultimately responsible. I'm not going to sit there and tell him, hey, look, you shouldn't go to the game. Go 2-10 and see what.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you call pressure. This is what you call trying to pressure Coach Prime into a decision. They keep saying, I don't care if he goes, he should do what he want to do. But it's on him. He's ultimately responsible. Other coaches are working. You don't know what the hell Lane Kiffin doing. He got the hell up and abandoned a whole goddamn program before they went to the playoffs. But they don't have nothing to say about that. And he still got paid for their playoff win at Ole Miss. He got paid by LSU. And he didn't do nothing.
What happens? Like, that's not that's his thing. You know, I don't really have a problem with it. If you feel like you can get it done, it is what it is. Again, it wouldn't be a good look, but
get what done? Get what done? If you have a recruiting advisor, if you have a recruiting director, what are you doing? What exactly are you doing? And since the Big 12 commissioner ran off every goddamn body, or the GM talking about, see, you don't have no money, and we got all of our players on defense hopping into the portal because Livingston's still over there, and because we don't have no damn money, who the hell is he supposed to go visit? Who? Are we getting somebody from UT? I'm pretty sure they would like to see Marion, since they likely already know him.
Since when has he cared what people think about what he does? Like, that's where I kind of roll my eyes at all these people. It's like, you know, I texted you jokingly. I'm like, portal opens. Like, I mean, he's been in Texas. Is he going to come back? I don't know. Well,
goddamn, if the portal just opened, why he got to come? I mean, shit, I work from home, so why he can't work from home? What is he supposed to do? If there's a visit after school, the kids didn't decide that they want to go to see you. They trying to make a decision. Seeing Coach Prime in person is not why they coming to see you. Am I right? Isn't that what the offensive coordinator is supposed to do? Isn't that their first line of second or third line of coaching? I'm like, okay, see, this is too much. this is too much. So that was the last video I wanted to share that tied in with Shedeur. And as you can see, the bullshit is happening over at CU, and I'm sick of them. So I want to see what y'all have to say about it. I'm like, this is crazy. Hey, everybody, how you doing? Niceville, 230 of us. Hit the like button, please. It says, hello, everyone. Fire Stefanski and everyone who contributed to the harassment of Shedeur. I totally agree. I totally agree. Hey, Sharon, welcome back. Hey, RD, welcome back. Have a fair and competent draft. I know that's right. That's the priority. Have a fair and competent draft built on talent. Fire Stefanski, Reese the entire O-line except Wyatt Teller and Cornelius. I like that. I totally agree with that. Everybody else can go. It said beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl of Ohio. That is kind of how it's being built up. It said greetings, Miss Nola. How you doing? How you doing, Stephen? Welcome back. Hey, Mama Tia, welcome back. Welcome back. It said, I like that John hoodie. It said, you sell that? No, I actually bought this from somebody. I think she was from Philly. She has her own store. And I've been having this probably for 2 seasons, maybe 3. Yeah, it's real cozy. I like it. And it has on the sleeve FTJ for the Johns. I think that's it. So that's their site, for the Johns. Thank you so much for that. It said, what does it stand for? John, that's a term that people use. I think this was during the pandemic. I bought this during the pandemic. Yeah, I might have bought this during the pandemic. I was just online shopping because you couldn't go nowhere. For the Johns. Like, it's just like I'm trying to think of how I can equate it. I don't want to say it's an African term because I don't think it is, but it's like slang, I think, maybe. and I don't know how to say it, but I think they had like Teacher John, Dr. John, Lawyer John, that type of thing for the Johns, right? Like you on your game, like something like that. It's been a couple years. You gotta look it up. You gotta look it up, but it was something like that. Teacher John, Lawyer John, Dr. John, that type of thing, like that. Like you on your game, that kind of like a boss, like a boss. You know how during the pandemic you heard boss this, girl boss, something. It was the same thing. If she went from boss, instead of using boss, she used John. It's the same thing. Like you're a boss. So I'm a boss. That's what it's saying. That's what it's saying. I have to think about it. Thank you. It said, thanks to our YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel, we brought awareness to the Browns' mismanagement and abuse of Shedeur and punishment of the other players on the team for celebrating. I sure hope so, because I think Tony should get his job back. Somebody said it's slang for a noun. It said it's a common word for folks on the East Coast. Say it all the time. Well, thank you. All right. It said I'm over Colorado. I told y'all. See, people thought I was saying I was over Coach Prime. Remember when I posted, I had my Buffaloes, my Colorado Buff jacket, and I said, should I return it? People thought I was turning on Coach Prime. I said, the jacket say Buffaloes. It don't say Coach Prime. I'm like, come on now. I said, no, it's because of how they treating Coach Prime. It's like as soon as Travis and Shedeur got out of there, it was like lights out. And I was like, see, yeah, that's what that was about. Travis Hunter and flipping him back, and not Travis per se, but black 5-star recruits. You took something from PWIs to HBCUs that they never expected. So they wanted it back. They got it back. And now you can go. That's all it is. That's all it is. It says Stefanski lynched everyone around who showed 12 some love. Yep. Also, will Njoku be returning? Analysts see Njoku is a contract year, and you see how they're holding him out. Analysts asked Stefanski about their relationship. Now I get it. Njoku didn't give a rat's tail about holding his truth. I know that's right. So that's what I said. Some of the players, like Myles Garrett, he's speaking his mind. They asked him about playing for Stefanski again or something. He said, I just want to win, and whatever that looks like. In other words, I'm not happy with losing. I don't give a damn who you get. So understand that. I just want to win, and whatever that looks like. It's not like these players can speak freely. And why are you only asking Njoku and Denzel Ward and Myles Garrett? You're asking people who showed support for Shedeur. The only reason why they didn't ask Jerry Jeudy, and maybe they did, but the only reason why they didn't ask him probably is because he showed he don't support Shedeur. Somebody talking about, I still don't understand. Just think of a boss. Like instead of it saying boss, you're John. I mean, just like a term like shorty. Like sometimes, like in Atlanta, they would say like shorty or something like that. They say shorty without the R. It's like SHAWTY. I don't know if they say that anymore, but shorty or something like that. Shorty, John. They could say a little John. I've heard them say that. That is some East Coast term. And she was in Philly, so I thought it was like a boss. That's what I thought it was. That's what I thought it was. I don't know. Somebody look it up. Somebody gotta look it up, damn it. I don't know. I said, I know what a noun is, but I never heard of this slang word. Yeah, a John is like, okay, like there's this guy that has like an animated series, and he always used that term in his animations. He said, and he refers to a girl like a John. He'll call her a John in another lexicon. Like in another part of the country, they'll call her a shorty. In another part in Houston, they might call it something different. As far as I know, that's what it means. But I thought it meant a boss. That's what I thought when I bought it in 2020. But things change. Things change. I think that's how long I've been having this. It's cozy. I like it. Somebody said John is a versatile Philadelphia slang term derived from joint. It said that acts as a placeholder for almost any person, place, thing, situation, or idea. Okay. Kind of like a comedian was telling a joke. Tony Rock. He has a joke like that. Matter of fact, I did a t-shirt based on like that. It goes something like, I don't know you like that. Oh, it's like that. Something like, how we use like that. It could kind of fit in any fill in the blank part for different opportunities. I guess that's what John is. I thought it was something else, but that's what it is. I was just out here supporting Black businesses in the pandemic. So, and now I'm my own Black business. So support me too. What she said, sports.com. It said they're always trying to control Black people. That's what it's giving. It said, I told you civil history is real. So it's okay if a white man can go support their children now that Coach Prime is more healthier, as he should show up for his son. It said ridiculous. Yeah, I'm like, why are y'all even having this conversation? Like the audacity to be contemplating if he should be going to support his son. I mean, based on what he's going through, I say he should have been there. But hey, what the hell do I know? I just know I kept campaigning for him to show up, and he showed up, and it makes a difference. And on this last game, what Stefanski should not even be coaching, because the list is long of why he should have already been fired. That didn't just come out last night. And you already know you're going to move off of Mike Tomlin if he lose this game. You ain't even talking about winning or losing. Just crazy. Giving him the privilege of coaching rather than the embarrassment of being fired. So they want to package it up nicely and put a bow on. Okay, now get the hell out. It said the practice squad, drop balls, Gage Lavardian obtains poor field position. Yeah, they made him an asset unknowingly. Good evening, Jackie. Welcome back. Happy New Year. It said it all makes sense now. Everyone very drafted to the team, Stefanski treats them bad. Right. And that's what I meant by Stefanski undermines Andrew Berry. Look at the new guys, the Nwankwu guy and Kendrick Green. That's two people Andrew Berry brought in, and he refused to play them, and one of them questionable. How is he questionable if he just got here? You don't even get to play on a team. He been here long enough that he'd have passed the physical. Just crazy. Last week, Green was questionable. Now he at the 2 and the 3 when he should replace Joel Batonio. Hey, Amber, how you doing? Welcome back. Allow Barry to pick his head coach. Now, you know what? I like that. What y'all think about that? I like that. Allow Barry to pick his own head coach. I like that. I like that a lot. Because they were going to let Mike Tomlin draft Shedeur. So who hired Mike Tomlin? So that's how you know Stefanski hired Dylan Gable. It said the entire team should speak up against Stefanski. Yeah. That ain't gonna happen. No. Yep. I think it has everything to do with their contracts. The only guys that are safe are the guys that have guarantees but don't have voids in their guarantees. See this new thing that they're doing when they had all these players holding out? They added these voids. If you do this, we can take back your guarantees. If you do that, we can take back your guarantees. Yeah. Now there's voids for on the field behavior. Everybody on the O-line, minus Wyatt Teller, should have their contracts voided, their guarantees voided for their allowing Shedeur to get sacked, for allowing Shedeur to get hit. And the refs too, for these late hits on Shedeur and not calling roughing the passer. Oh my God. I saw how they hit Bryce Young today. Definitely a late hit. I don't even know if they called it. Matter of fact, when that game was over, people were talking about the refs really bad. I'm like, I have a feeling that the Panthers got cheated or didn't want to win the game because they threw that damn flea flicker at the end. And I said, that's right, Bryce Young is their quarterback, and they did him dirty. He never moved on either. He stayed, and you know, all I know is they said if the Falcons lose, the Bucks, or if the Falcons win or something, if the Falcons win or lose, that determines if the Bucks win the division. I said, oh, the Falcons, who they playing? The Saints right here in Atlanta tomorrow. I started to go to one of their parties and ask questions. There was an after party. I was like, I'm going to go in there. With my 12 jersey on and microphone. So you have a message for Shedeur? I was like, nah, I ain't going to do it. But I am going out tonight, so I might come back with an interview. So yeah, it's giving rigged. It's giving rigged. It's giving rigged. Because remember, they were holding back the Bucks, and I said, "Oh, they trying to fire their head coach." So apparently, there are people that believe that the refs cheated the Panthers, but then the Panthers decided to call a flea flicker, so they cheated themselves. It said, "Who's talking crazy like that at CU?" Whoever those two guys were. By Stefanski. I know that's right. I know that's right. It said, "We must continue to expose all players and coaches involved." I totally agree. It don't stop. It don't stop. It said messed up and flawed. What's that, Mama Tia? It said, "I think Haslam couldn't go against the owner's collusion, so Barry took the initiative and got Shedeur." It said the owners are pissed and keep running anti-Barry propaganda. Interesting. You think Haslam couldn't go against the owner's collusion, so Barry took the initiative and got Shedeur? You think the owners really let Barry make that call? Remember what Haslam said. There was a phone call. A lot of phone calls happening in this draft. There was a phone call, and all the right people were in the room. Andrew Barry was in the room, unless Haslam was in the room with the owners. And the president of the United States called up Andrew Barry and said, "Hey, let me holler at you for a second. I'm going to need you to get Shedeur." And then he called up Haslam and put the phone on speaker, and then they let him talk. Come on now. And with that being the case, and I have said that, with that being the case, you would think Stefanski would be out of his ever-loving mind to go against Shedeur, wouldn't you? We'll come back to that. I wouldn't. After looking at today's news, I would like, yeah, that's a little special right there. That's a little interesting right there. It said Miles speaks out, but they punish him so he doesn't make his record for sacks. Right. And you know what? I don't even think he cares. He's supposed to get one more sack, whether it's a half a sack or a whole sack, to break the record, because he tied it right now. And it's funny how you say that, right? They're retaliated against him. Right. Why they keep going to Myles Garrett and asking him about Stefanski? He already told them what he thought, and they asked him again. It's like they are trying to force Myles Garrett to say, "We like Stefanski," so they can sit and go, "Well, the leader of the team on defense likes Stefanski because Shedeur is the leader of the team on offense." And Myles Garrett already said, "I want to win. And whatever the hell that looks like." And then they went at him again. Then they got this award on record. Well, everything isn't his fault. I'm like, okay, he felt the sting of being benched for 2 to 3 games. I don't know why they keep going for Myles, because they're trying to get him to buck, basically. Right? And they think he care about, and maybe he doesn't care about the record. Because in his incentive, I don't know if he even, one, has the incentive. 2, is it really anything significant? And is it you have to tie the record, or do you have to improve the record? He doesn't seem to be worried about it. And I think it is because he noticed that they were already suppressing the defense when Shedeur started playing. So he gave up on it. That's how I felt. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I thought. So I feel like they keep trying to say something about Myles. Let's see. Yeah, it's crazy. Let me show this to y'all, and let me see if Myles Garrett is right under there. Okay, yeah, I can share that. Okay, hold on. We're gonna share this. Oh, I think the comments are subscriber only, by the way, just in case y'all was wondering. Let me share this right fast. This is what I was telling y'all, that they already know what they want to do with, let's see. It says it right here. What kind of stuff is this to put out the day before a big game? Wait, when do the Ravens play the Steelers? Tomorrow at 8 o'clock or something like that? It said breaking. Excellent Steelers insider Mark Kabali predicts Art Rooney will decline Mike Tomlin's 2027 option if the Steelers lose on Sunday. How can he predict that? I don't know. Tomlin would then enter the 2020 6th season as a lame duck. So you ate the whole season. It said it would mean his Steelers future would be in a very precarious place for the first time ever. This man has never had a losing season. And they trying to play him like this. And the most they will say about Stefanski is they're gonna think about it after the game, as if somehow the outcome of the game matters. That's what I mean by the way these black players and coaches and quarterbacks get treated. It's just insane. Now, I just think that's just crazy to treat Mike Tomlin like that. But like he said, he's been on the hot seat for 19 years, so he ain't really worried about it. Tony Grossi is talking about Jimmy Haslam has his eyes on Arch Manning in the 2027 draft. Yeah, I said that first. I said that first, and I'm proud of it. It says Browns have ruled out 3 key players. M. Harden, which was 26, the guy they brought in to get burned in the Chicago game 3 times in the first quarter. They don't want him to play no more. Tevin Jenkins and Gukhan, the guy they just got. Harold Fannin Jr. is out, and Njoku's out. Carson Westernger's out. So, yeah, okay. And this is them at practice today. Myles Garrett returns to practice after missing Thursday due to a hip injury. A lot of injuries. Lot of injuries. I don't know. Maybe they just let him go light at it. I don't know. I don't know. And this is Harold Fannin Jr., who said he's disappointed that he can't play this week, but he's excited for the future.
I'm very excited. Coming into the season, I didn't think I'd be able to, do stuff like that, especially get behind Dave with things like that. So.
Did y'all hear what he said? He didn't think he'd have a season that he had because he was tight end number 2. How did he get in front of Njoku? Does anybody know? Were they expecting him to fail? Because remember, he was a third round. He wasn't a highly touted tight end. So they moved Njoku out the way in his contract year and put rookie Harold Fannin out there, and he did the damn thing. And now Fannin and Njoku are benched in Njoku's contract year. So chances are he might not be back. I don't know. We're going to have to see. But again, 2 people showing support for Shedeur, taken out of the last game that Shedeur has to play. It says Shedeur Sanders getting loose for his last practice this season. I don't know why this person did post a video because they had a video of everybody else. It said Kevin Stefanski at the Browns practice for the last time. That's what I mean. So he posted a video of Stefanski, a steal of Shedeur. They had interview with Harold Fannin Jr. and video with is that Myles Garrett? You see, that's what kind of stuff I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Talking about the Browns had internal discussions about Marcus Freeman before he decided to return to Notre Dame. I would pay good money to find why Marcus Freeman decided I don't want no parts of this NFL stuff. What y'all think? Y'all have an idea why y'all think he returned to Notre Dame? Let me know. Ramon said, remember Black Monday, the day when coaches get the pink slip is 2 days away. I didn't know about that, but thank you. Thank you for that, Ramon. 2 days away, huh? It said AB was in on the rules with the others. He just pivoted to Shedeur's side quicker. I totally agree. It said he did nothing to stop the abuse and endured and made wild comments about his talent. He did. I didn't forget. You're right. So if he get booted out too, I guess we can't say nothing. But he does not deserve to be fired now because he made that right. I think he made that right. But you're right. He was in on it at the beginning, and I didn't like him in the beginning. I totally agree. Stefanski made no mistakes. Barry got Flacco out the way, or it would have worked. So you think Flacco being booted out exposed Stefanski's plot for Dylan? That's what you think, Debo? Let me know. It said the Shedeurians is the only reason Stefanski is now being reviewed. It's that we are applying pressure. I'll take it. I'll take it because I'll be under everybody's comments. It says, hey, sis, how you doing? Hey, Isaiah. It said the dirt diver needs to go as well. Right. And understand this. The dirt diver got a replacement. That's right. The dirt diver has a replacement. Kendrick Green. But Stefanski put Tevin Jenkins over there. Stefanski is blocking Kendrick Green and Iwanku guy. Yep. That's what I meant by Stefanski is undermining Andrew Berry. That's exactly what I meant. I totally agree with you. I don't trust it. Why make that an issue now? It said pray for Shedeur's safety. Right. Worried about his safety in week 18. You weren't worried about it before. You worried about it now? You want to say it out loud now? Shedeur deserves some type of award. I'm sure God will bless him immensely, but he deserves some type of award because for what he's been through and the way he's handled it, people twice his age wouldn't have made it. And they wouldn't have. He's only 23. Never had a real job. Like, never been out here dealing with this foolishness in corporate America. So he could be primed for it. No. So dealing with the disappointment of not being able to live out your dream and racism that you're probably not used to dealing with and being betrayed by people who lured you in, including Andrew Berry. And then they couldn't protect you and nobody could stand up for you. Not within the organization, not within the league. And you know the commissioner. And you know Jerry Jones. And you know Tom Brady. And you know Peyton Manning. That's a lot. All at one time. To have sink into your consciousness that you out here on the plank naked and they gonna push you into the sharks. And if you make the wrong move, you're gonna perish. That's exactly the situation he was in. So he had to talk himself off the ledge and convince them to get the hell out the way. And that's where the 20 million voices coming at. I remember, do y'all remember when I said Shedeur Sanders' fan base is God's grace for him? Facts. When Shedeur showed those shoes and he was talking about all the people he played for. Facts. I was like, Shedeur, if you want me to find out who you stole your bags, send me to Cleveland for a week. I'm not playing. I'm not playing because they're not trying to find out. It's not that it's hard. They don't want to know because they know. I told y'all when that happened. I say, if this drags out, they know exactly who it is. It's too much technology out here not to know. The last thieves that actually did break into, was it Pat Mahomes' house? That's how they got busted. Contact tracing. And if these three showed up with no devices and a signal jammer, they've been doing this a minute. And it shouldn't be hard to find. And they would have took way more than what they took. It said Barry was smart to remove Flacco. It said Pickett, otherwise Shedeur would have not gotten any chance to play. Agreed. So maybe that's when Barry started maneuvering in the right way. Or at least that's what it seems like. Because the way I look at that scenario, they expended 2 5th-round picks to get Shedeur in the 5th round. Trading Pickett and Flacco, they got those picks back. So it's given premeditated. It's given, hey, we're going to pretend like we're going to get Shedeur and we're going to pivot from him. We sent Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who's black, over to Philadelphia with Jalen Hurts, and we got Pickett. And then we'll pivot from Shedeur and get Dillon and Flacco. And that's exactly what they did. And then I move out Flacco after he sucked up the reps. It was too many reps. We'll keep Pickett and Flacco to block. Then we'll get rid of both of them and get our picks back. That's exactly what happened. It's given premeditated. So either Andrew Berry is trying to cover his tracks. So when Stefanski says it's never just one person, maybe he already know they're going to move on Andrew Berry. And I've said they might be playing in his face because I think they let Berry believe he was going to draft Shedeur until the last minute. Where is mine? until the last minute. Sorry, I had to plug up my laptop. Until the last minute and pivot. And he's quick on his thinking feet. You know, when he was talking in that video, and I still have it after the draft, look at his demeanor. Look at how he said after the draft, Haslam lets us do our jobs. That's a lie. So Barry is covering for Haslam in terms of Deshaun, in terms of Shedeur. That's a lie. He doesn't let them do their jobs. If he did, Andrew Barry would not be equal to Kevin Stefanski. Andrew Barry would have had some power to stop Stefanski. But I predict, or I speculate, the reason that they're equal is so that Barry could not stop Stefanski. And that is probably why Barry was hired as a Black person and made equal to Stefanski, who was hired to do the dirty work. It was all set up. We're going to get Stefanski in at this to do this, that, and the other. I fired Sashi Brown, who's Black, to get Lamar. So I'm replacing with a Black GM, but I'm going to make that GM equal with Stefanski. And they're going to have separate duties and report to me independently. So I can tell Barry one thing and Stefanski another. Which is probably why they reluctant to fire Stefanski, because he know what about is a Barry. So they probably got to work it out where they get him another job. Because knowing him, he'll burn it all down. It said, if not for podcasters, they wouldn't have said anything about the O-line. I totally agree. They wouldn't have said anything about the O-line. They wouldn't have said anything about the checkdowns. They wouldn't have said anything about the Wildcats. I totally agree with that. It said, and that's why they can't get him fired. It said, hell no, Stefanski's got to go. I agree. Stefanski does need to go. It said, I want Shedeur out of Cleveland. I don't care what they do in Cleveland after that. I feel like that a lot too. I just don't think they're going to move. And then again, I kind of think we're going to wake up and they're going to be like, Shedeur traded somewhere. I don't know. We'll see. The unexpected. We still waiting on the unexpected again. It said, I'm surprised that they're still trying it because they failed miserably and the whole world has seen them. The NFL has been exposed. Thank you, 50s. Thank you, 50 sis. That's what we said. These people do not stop. Like they go at it like a jackhammer trying to break some concrete, and you just go until the concrete break. It's like, hey. You do know you're exposing yourself and tarnishing your brand. You do know that we now, what did I say? The longer Shedeur in Cleveland, we're going to find out exactly how many more people are involved. Now we got Tommy Reese in there. We got sports in there. We got the entire goddamn O-line. The starters, except for Wyatt Teller. Cornelius Lucas. We know how they did it now. We know that they used the roster to manipulate. We know that Barry brought in new people and Stefanski refused to play him. We know that the owner scapegoated Deshaun Watson. We know that the NFL scapegoated Coach Prime. We know that 17-32 is the damn reason. If you coming after Lamar, Deshaun Watson, Shedeur Sanders, Kale Ward, you got a problem with Black quarterbacks, and that's not new for the NFL. So if it's not new for the NFL, who don't have a specific team to be hostile towards Black quarterbacks, then why the hell is it not perceivable that that's what happened to Shedeur in the draft? Because they covered it up by drafting Cam first and blaming Coach Prime and lying on Shedeur, and people fell for it. I knew instantly when they traded up to get Dart what time it was. I might play that clip back one day, but it's out there. It's 4 hours long. I was pissed. I didn't even go live the next day. So I don't know how the hell Shedeur survived it, because, bruh, that took a toll on me. I felt like it was happening to me. But to watch that, and they wanted 7 million people to watch that. They treat Shedeur like he's not human. Same thing with Deshaun. Same thing with Lamar. And people want to give Deshaun a bad name. I'm like, Deshaun wasn't the only person involved in that. And y'all going to keep on till people go back and expose the married white players who gave Deshaun the information. How you think they knew how to find the goddamn women? The women didn't come forward. They got found And how do you think that is? They're going to keep on till that truth comes out. Deshaun already liked one post proving that what's happening wasn't about him. It was about when Flacco and Baker Mayfield get to move on and be successful, meaning it ain't him. Let another post start flying. And he out the league. He just might be inclined to like that one too, about the truth about what happened. When he out the league, he probably free to say whatever the hell he want to say. Unless they done put something in place where he can, a non-disclosure where he can't ever say it out loud. And that could be how he got his money. It says Stefanski is entitled to spoil. Yeah, I totally agree. He's not a head coach. He's not a head coach. They didn't want the spotlight on them and how incompetent they are. Now that could be it too. That could be it. Cleveland media is going down with the ship, trying not to say Shedeur is nice. What? That's crazy. It said the entire Browns organization is dysfunctional. I hope Shedeur get traded and leaves this mess behind. Yes, even though he somehow survived it. God, it said 20 million followers and counting. That's right, because 50 Cent got 34 million. And I didn't follow 50 Cent. So there's a lot of us that didn't follow 50 Cent, and he got 34 million followers. So it's saying, at what point do you stop and start going in the right direction? I don't know. I guess we're going to witness it together. As long as you're doing good, I'm good. But I pray to God, Coach Prime don't veer off his path and he show up, him and Carucci, fine, at that damn game again. Don't let the people push you off your path. And something unthinkable happened, because there's a reason why Stefanski is allowed to coach and manipulate the roster again, like last time with the tight ends, starting with the guy that crushed his hand and tore his nail off. So it said, I think a bidding war will kick off for Shedeur. It said Cleveland is addicted to picks and opium, so Shedeur might escape. That's possible. Andrew Berry did say the alternative use for the selection, because we ain't had no intention on playing him after we picked him at 144, was draft trade capital. And I'm fine with that. And I'm sure he will be fine with that too. People think that Mendoza should go to Vegas. I'm like, well, Ashley Genty gonna have a good year because he gonna do all the work. Just like in that playoff game. The running backs did the bulk of the work. 215 yards on the ground. So Ashton Genty gonna have himself a good year with the check down, King. So hey, whatever. Good luck to you. I don't know what's gonna happen with Shedeur, but something need to happen. It need to be made right. It said, I hope Shedeur get the hell out of out of what? With roller skates on. That's so cute. Okay, you hope Shedeur get out there with roller skates on. It's interesting that the Myers led the collusion, and Stefanski is rumored to be going to the Giants. Right. I thought about that when they said that. I'm like, cool. Long as it ain't no black quarterback over there who he could destroy, I don't give a damn. Because they ain't going to do nothing but further expose the situation. They just put them all together. That's what it is. I moved out that ball. So I'm going to bring Stefanski over here since we started this mess. And fine, put them all together. Put them all together. That's what I say. It's just easy to nab them all when they all together. So there you go. I thought about that as well. Yeah, you got a good point on that with Debo. It said you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool the Shedeurians. I know that's right. Let them get the B they deserve, Mendoza and the Manny kid, because I don't think he's that good. He seems like a head case to me. Yeah, I think he might be a good kid, but they dumbing down the quarterback position because the NFL know they're not going to stop drafting black quarterbacks. So they're like, what do we do to dumb it down? Because they athletic, they got all this DNA. They got all this talent, this athleticism. And it's true. And they want it for non-QB positions. But now they faced with it with black quarterbacks becoming the majority. So what do we do? Because we are not going to leave Trinidad out there. We're not going to leave Dante out there. We're not going to let Shedeur walk. We're not going to let Cam walk so Cam and Shedeur can start a league and bring Trinidad and Dante over there. Because remember, Cam and Shedeur said we should start our own league. I totally agree. They ain't gonna let them walk. So what do? Check downs. I'm gonna turn Cam into a check down. Remember what his coach just said. He has the ability to be Superman, but we want him to be Clark Kent. What did Tommy Reese say? It's not about the wins and losses. It's about the process. The process was check downs. That's why Dante Moore is behind check down King Mendoza. All I know is every time they think they got to figure it out, something else happens. And then they thought they had it moved. They thought they had it. Okay, we know what we're gonna do. He going back to school. We'll just let we'll just let him come back out in 2027. You see, last week Rizzo, I think was it Rizzo, finally said, I know I said I had been posting about the Manning kid under their comments and wherever, because that's what the hell it is. And Shedeur needs to know that so he can move accordingly. Don't get comfortable. That's all I'm gonna say. Just go out there and have fun, and don't try to fight to be there, because the sooner you go, the better. But if you there one more year as QB1 until this kid come out, enjoy every minute of it, and don't worry about it, because they want you to be on pins and needles. Hell no. Look at it as you get your freedom papers if you get the hell out of there and they want to get that kid, because one thing about it, that kid is not Shedeur. And that's between them and they damn fan base. And we gonna be fans of whatever team he go to next, and get whatever jersey he gonna get next. And everything I got gonna switch to whatever number he wearing next. I hope it's the 2. So I say let her get what they deserve as well. We are watching. It said the NFL owners are screaming in the media for Stefanski to not lose his job. It said using these whack Cleveland sports shows. Yeah, that's why I don't watch none of their stuff. It said they won't have the momentum of Shedeur. Absolutely, they will not. It said the whole NFL is to blame. We know it. Yes, that's facts. Debo talking about the Citizens Council. Okay. Oh, Lord have mercy. It said, what rounds do the Browns have for the draft? Who should they draft? We're going to talk about it if Shedeur there, but if not, I don't give a damn. All I know, let me see if I can share it. I had this post. Somebody pissed me off because they put Trinidad Shambliss as number 39. They already had Lenore Sellers as number 32 or number 34. They have all of the black quarterbacks outside of Dante Moore, no matter how good they are, in the second round, because they don't want them to stack up in the first round any further, because that has been the trend since I think Lamar or Kyler Murray's class, or the 2020 class, since the NFL apologized for not listening to players or not listening to Colin Kaepernick. Now they like, okay, we done. They done took in racism out the end zone. Nope, we don't care no more. They took that as a sign to start taking away QB1 jobs and handing them out to people. And it had nothing to do with talent. Yep, that's what that was. Let's see if I have this, if I saved it. It made me mad, but I said, here y'all go. And you know what's crazy? It was on somebody's page and they blocked me. I'm like, how you block me? I don't even know you. It's crazy when somebody block you and you don't know them. I'm like, have I even ever interacted with you? So I blocked them. Shit. I was like, nah, that's saying a lot. I have never interacted with you. And yet you blocked me first. So I can't respond to this crap you done put out here about Trinidad. Because if you think I went hard for Shedeur and I'm going to go hard for Julian, I'm going hard for Trinidad. Because I told y'all about him before everybody else started talking about him. Now everybody else see. I was really talking about him because it was 2 black quarterbacks at Ole Miss. But I knew he was good too. Austin Simmons too. I want to see what happens with him, because he after Trinidad. So we'll see. I want to see if they're going to get that Jackson Dart Ole Miss love from the Mannings like Dylan did. Yeah, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see. I'm trying to see if I can find this post right fast that somebody saved, whoever blocked me, because I blocked them back, so I don't have it. I don't have it. But ain't that funny though? That's funny, right? I'm like, hey, you blocked me. I don't know you. Well, see, I didn't have no problem with saying that Tyler Shaw's game was rigged. So I don't think all the Saints people might have blocked me. I don't care. I don't care, bro. I'm like, no. It was painful. That was like watching practice film. Tyler Shaw's game was like watching practice film. And I said it. I said Mendoza is what they want Tyler Shaw to be. And they probably, that's why I probably got blocked. I'm not lying though. It's fact. It is straight facts. So some of the people, like they talking about getting Cornell Tate. The last time the Browns had a wide receiver, it was 2016 in the first round. So I don't know what they're gonna do with their picks. Like Debo said, they love to package up them picks and trade people. They might trade Shedeur. Because what did they say? Cincinnati wanted a second round pick. Do you think you think Shedeur could be traded for a second round pick, or you think it's first round pick only? I don't know if Andrew Berry would even trade Shedeur for anything less than first round. Now, that's up to him. But don't forget the owners are out there too. And they tell Haslam. The owners and Haslam decide what they're going to do. And Haslam go tell, is this it? Haslam runs and tells Berry. I don't think that's it. I don't see it. Oh, but I will show you this one. This is the list of all the people that they say were out, but they left some people off of here too. They were talking about how decimated, and I'm gonna get myself out of here. What time is it? Oh yeah, I got to go. All right. Okay, it said the offense for the Browns has been decimated. They pointed out that DeJuan Jones is gone. He was a starter. Batonio is still there, but he should be gone. Kosick is out. Wyatt Teller is out, but he say he not injured. Conklin was dirt diving, and they say he injured instead of consequences for dirt diving. And Joku's out. I think they forced him out. Harold Fannin Jr. is out. So you see how the offense has been compromised? The offense way more compromised than the defense. On defense, Greg Newsome, Carson Swessinger, and M. Collins. Okay, but look at over here. Dylan Sampson is the lead running back. And then I guess it's still Raheem and Travion. Those are the three. So they're showing how decimated the Browns are, as if the Browns did something. But it's funny, this guy, Jerry Jeudy, he never get moved around. They leave him in place. Remember, Tommy Reese, I love Jerry Jeudy. We're going to try to feature him more. I'm like, oh, that's a direct threat. Oh, okay. And what was Jerry Jeudy doing in practice? There's video. I still never saw it. There's a video somewhere that apparently in practice, Jerry Jeudy was dropping that Jerry is either giving Shedeur a heads up of what it's going to be, or he's showing Shedeur, oh, this is what it's going to be. Get ready. Right? Because Tommy Reese knew the season was coming to an end just a few short weeks ago. Not last week, but week before last. After Jerry Jeudy dropped that pass, I think he said, or before he dropped that pass, he was like, I love Jerry Jeudy. We're going to feature him more. Then I think that's when he hid behind the defender. And you see Jerry Jeudy never gets moved around. He never gets adjusted. Malachi Corley is the 2 behind Jerry Jeudy now. Let's see if Malachi Corley plays and Jeudy comes out the game. All right, I'm going to get myself out of here. I'm keeping tabs when we get closer to who coming out of school for real, who I think, what she said, sports, I guess draft picks. I'm not watching it. I'm going to see about it after it's over. I'm not watching it. But I will be looking at, especially on the quarterback side, who is really coming out, where they could possibly go. If Shedeur is still in Cleveland, talking about what they should get, who they should get, and what Cleveland should do overall. Get a damn real head coach. That's what they should do. So that's what we're going to do going forward with the draft, but I'm not watching draft day. Oh, and the guys from CU, I guess kind of keep tabs on them, because I think they said Kato Salter declared for the draft. So, I hear about that, but we'll keep tabs on him too. Okay, so that's it, guys. I'm going to get myself out of here. This was awesome. I'll see y'all later on. Thank you all for the great show. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all next time. Tomorrow, the game. Watch party, 12:50 p.m. Normally, when I wake up early and get some orange juice, I start posting as a reminder that we're having a watch party. So I'm probably going to do that in the morning so y'all don't forget. 12:50 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bengals versus Browns, the Battle of Ohio. See y'all tomorrow. Have a good one. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. 248 of us. Hit the like button for me, please. Thank you. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Good night. See y'all next time.